chime in on this conversation. We're going to talk about Tristan's situation, and we're going to share with the listeners how they can help us with this case, how they can help us bring awareness to this case, and how they can support this family. Because, y'all, this 12-year-old baby is going through a lot, and there needs to be something done in Frisco. It definitely needs to be something done at the within the school district and all those that have had some dealings with this case. So if you would please introduce yourself, and then we're gonna go ahead and jump in the conversation.
Most definitely. I'm Dwayne. I'm out here in Texas in the DFW area. I'm an advocate. I'm also am a person in ministry, and I'm just a good person that tries to help those who need help and need a light shine on injustice in this world. And I'm just happy to be here tonight and to give some type of shedding of light to Tristan Weekley's situation.
If you can come closer to the mic, because you are kind of low, and I want to make sure that everybody hear you, because you have a lot of insight with this case, and I want people to be able to hear you. I don't know if Dr. Sissy is on, but if she's on, Dr. Sissy, are you there?
Not definitely right yet.
Okay. Well, we're gonna keep it moving. She may come, she may not, because she is a very busy woman. But I just think I have to give my hats off to you, Dwayne, for all that you do. You don't just advocate for this case; you're advocating for Carmelo Anthony. You're advocating for Christopher Nehais. Two young men that we trying to let people know that self-defense is not a crime. They protected themselves and was charged with crime. So I thank you for what you're doing. I want you to share a little bit about the Tristan Weekley's case.
Yes, back on August the 13th of 2024, Tristan was starting his second day of seventh grade in middle school. And according to the reports and according to his mom as well, that that day he had went to the bathroom right before the release that afternoon. Mind you, this was his second day after school. He had his backpack already, and he went to the restroom. He stated that someone called his name, so he went to the front of the restroom, and there was a lady there. She said, "Hi, I'm Amanda," and she began to ask if he wanted some ice cream, and he said no. And basically, she got agitated with the ice cream in his face, and he felt a prick in his finger, and from that moment, he blacked out. From the report, they said that he walked out, dropped his backpack near the cafeteria, and walked out the front door, and he came up missing. But from when his mom went to go and look at the actual video, you can see him frantic. And I think they all agreed, from the principal to the police to the people from the school district, they all agreed that he was frantically looking back and forth when he showed up on the camera at the actual lunchroom area. He dropped the bag and he ran off. And he was found unresponsive. I think about 40 minutes away. I think that's what they were saying. At someone's residence who had to call 911. And when the mother came looking for him to pick him up, no one gave her any kind of inkling of where he was and what was going on. They were just questioning if he was the other child that they had, and everything was a rebuttal of what she was saying he was. No, that's not him because he's not the son. He's nonverbal. And so when they finally did confirm by actually asking what underwear did he have on, and when she confirmed that, then that's when she was able to know where he was. And she said he drove to that location. They would not let her near him in the ambulance. And just not to go into all the details of that moment, um, they began to cover up what was actually going on. When she got to the hospital, she was made aware he had acetone in his system. From the doctor, he had a legal dose of acetone in his system, and it was just by, I guess, right or flight that he was able to get away and survive that moment. And she did share with us just a moment ago, earlier today, that he did code while he was at the hospital. They were able to resuscitate him. And so from that point on, she began to just get backlash from the school system, from the police department, and no one would cooperate and let her know what happened to her son. They do have a name because this person was there on the first day of school. Her son remembered that person from when his mom walked to get him that evening. He was making her, trying to get her to remember that person, Amanda, was there at the bus line with the students. And so this is a known person to the school and to the principal, to the assistant principal. But for whatever reason, they are not sharing that information with the mother, with advocates that are on this case trying to help her out. They're trying to cover up everything. Even to the point that they closed the case within a week of receiving it. That of April the 13th of 2024. Within a week, they closed the case and just basically said that it was people higher than this, above their pay grade, that put out the story that the media received, saying that he just walked away from the school. And so it's been a straight cover up, back and forth, even to the point of when I put in the 4 year request to get the basic information, police report, just video footage from the body cam, police and the squad car cam. They actually sent it directly to the Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton's office, and then he basically told me that I couldn't get any of the information because I wasn't the parent. But they told Miss Weekley, who is his mother and his guardian, that she couldn't get the information because they couldn't release it to her. And so it's just a cover up from the top of the state of Texas all the way down to the school district itself.
Wow, that's sad. We do have Dr. Sissy on with us. Dr. Sissy, come on in and introduce yourself, and we're gonna continue to talk about this case. She was a part of um, the last show. So come on in, Dr. Sissy.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. Hope y'all are doing good too.
We are. We are. We
I
are.
heard, I heard you speaking of Miss Weekley.
Yes, we are talking about, I listened in on her share her story with you and Dwayne earlier.
Yeah.
And a lot of red flags went off in my head. This one kind of really touched my heart, and it resonated deep down in my soul because we send our kids to school and we think that they're going to be protected in the hands of those that are supposed to be in charge of them. Just listening to that story, hearing her share um, what she saw and how things were handled, um, immediately, red flag said that it was a cover up. And to think about this case and to think about Carmelo's case, there's definitely a serious problem in Frisco, Texas. That they have a problem of wanting to cover up the truth and wanting to protect people within that community. And I'm grateful for individuals like you guys that are willing to advocate, willing to go deep and to break some of this corruption up and bring it to the forefront, because there's definitely something going on there. And for them to close the case and then say that they watched video but never watched the videos. I mean, this really has to be disheartening to that family. We just want some justice to come. We want some people to be held accountable, It's about being held accountable. We may never be able to find that person that harmed him because of all of the things that have happened, but at least we can hold some people accountable for not doing their jobs. Um, wow. And just to hear her talk about this baby, the field that you're in, I want you to talk about the the after effects of what has happened to this baby and what he may experience for the rest of his life. A lot of this trauma that happens to us, we learn to cope with it, but we never truly get over these things. So I want you to touch on that because of your profession, if you would. Introduce yourself
Well,
and then touch on that, if you would.
yes, hi, Sissy. I do have a TikTok, Sissy11251. You bring your children to school, whether it's the teachers or any assistants that they may have, or even upper echelon that's there, to the police. These are all ones that you would normally trust. You trust that they're going to have your children's best interest. And to have something like this happen with no results and lies, and clearly there were, so I'm on the same page as you. To say daunting doesn't really describe it, does it?
It don't.
Yeah, it just clearly it's a breakdown of our society, and as far as already what Miss Weekley as well as Tristan's gone through, they are in need of counseling to move forward in life. He has been homeschooled, so the socialization with other kids normally that they would get in his youth, 7th, 8th grade before getting into high school, has been taken away from him. The act of not knowing, not being able to talk after having acetone in his system, and everything he went through in the hospital, to say that he'll have PTSD doesn't also encompass it. They need therapy. She does have a gift and go under Chandra, CHANDRA. Weekley is her last name, which is spelled WEEKLEY. To provide counseling for them. She has co-pays that she's unable to meet, so that is what that's for. If you wish to do so, and help is greatly appreciated.
Wow. And
I'm kind of speechless. There's a lot of things that were spoke about on that I wasn't even privy to.
Right.
So I'm still kind of digesting it myself.
That's what I'm doing. I'm still trying to process a lot of that conversation, a lot of things that were said. It just it breaks my heart that people can be in your face and lie to you and just hide the truth and look you in the eye and do it, because these people did this stuff in her face. It wasn't over the phone, it wasn't on the computer, it was right in her face. For that officer to say that he wasn't the officer at that school, that SRO, and we know that SRO, for people that don't know, they are the resource officers that are assigned to the school, and most schools have them. They have a officer that is assigned to that school, whether they have their own police department or what, because I know in some states they have their own, where they do nothing but do resource officers for schools. They have their own department. But the fact that this one says that he was not who he was, that was a red flag for me. That truly was a red flag for me. It made me feel like he had some part in that. And I felt like he's a person that needs to be investigated. He is a person that they need to dive deeper in on.
The SRO officer, the student resource officer, was actually never divulged to her. The person who she spoke with basically told her that he's not this, and he's not this, and didn't even offer another resource or avenue to take. After which she found out who exactly he was, and he dismissed her.
There was just a lot of red flags. I just can't imagine, like, even down to the video. Like, you don't forget what you saw the first time. You show her video and then you show her another video and then that video is totally different. Now you're gonna remember if you saw people in a place, if you saw your child wandering into the cafeteria, if the first time, if there was kids there, you're gonna remember that there were kids there. And then the second video, kids are now in the video. It's just not right. Like
it's not. And the key thing here, we're going to dive into it more when I speak with her later to go over a little bit more detail. My huge takeaway from speaking with her was that her son Tristan had his backpack. School had not been let out. He was released from his class, so he had his backpack on him. So how is that? Who did that? Who called that? Yeah. Who let him out of the classroom? So something happened. Somebody knows something, because every other student was still in class.
And she said she never had a chance to speak with the teacher. Is that what she said, Dwayne? No one ever brought the teacher involved.
No one will come forward.
So my thing is, when do kids just get to leave class and just roam the halls and no one know where they are? Like, and for him to have had his backpack, it made me feel like someone either sent something to the teacher to have him removed from the class, or you know how they may send a message and tell them to send a student to the counselor, or they may send a student to, well, for me, I'm going to talk about when I was in school. So when I was in school, I used to have to go, I had a speech impediment, so I used to have to go to speech. So they would send over the loudspeaker, they would call to my teacher and tell my teacher that it was time, if they could release me to go to so and so's class. Or they would, the teacher that you was going to their class, they would come and get you. We never were able to roam the halls without somebody knowing where we are. Normally, they would give us a hall pass. Well, if we got stopped in the hall, we had a pass so that individuals know where we were going and where we were coming from. We never just had an opportunity to roam the halls. So that just was a red flag to me.
Yeah, simplistically said, at this point, when you do an investigation, that would be the first go-to, is why was he released early from class, right?
Exactly.
Not done.
Yeah, and
the video.
Those are things that are very telling of the whole moment, because he can't leave class without being dismissed. And so it's apparent that there's a madness. Because I actually put a FOIA request into that too, for all the visitors that signed in and signed out there. Amanda is not on it. So that means that Amanda has to work for the school district, because she wasn't a volunteer. And so this person, Tristan, knew who this person was because he saw that lady the first day of school. And this incident happened the second day of school, and he remembered her. And also, Ms. Weekley stated that there was a dialogue of conversation, not just what we talked about as far as time Amanda, do you want ice cream? No, shut it in the face. They had a dialogue because he said that she became agitated. I mean, whatever the conversation was, she became agitated over time. So I believe that from the way they responded to me on the FOIA request and the way they responded to Chandra over the past year and to change with all the different meetings and different things she had to go to, is that they know exactly who this person is. And when Chandra asked them at the hospital that day to do a rape kit on Tristan to make sure that he wasn't violated, they said they couldn't because he had rights. He's a minor. As a parent is saying to do it, they usually do it at the hospital. It's no such thing as he has rights. And so they failed to do that because they know something. And so it's such a disheartening moment because it's so many different things, many red flags that prove that from the principal to the assistant principal coming to her and she came there and said, what are you doing? Oh, I'm not aware of anybody's missing. It's just softball girls inside, and then walk away, and then later on the principal stating, oh yeah, you met with my assistant principal, without Ms. Weekley even asking who that person was. And it's like that was the same thing with the SRO officer when she went to the police office that whole week, and they finally said, well, the lead investigator is Officer Pippin, who is the SRO. And they said, oh, he talked, he was on the video, he seen your son, he talked to your son. So it's so many red flags because these are things that people never told her. That the SRO officer talked to her son, had contact with her son that day, that he was the actual investigator, lead investigator, when he stated he was not the SRO officer or he didn't work there at that school. But all these things are just confusing because we ask the question, why and what did you do to that base that day that you have to cover it up this way?
Wow.
She is the fiduciary of Tristan. She is the final say because he is a minor, and yet he couldn't authorize that. So that in and of itself was bizarre to me as well.
Wow.
And also, Sissy, the crazy thing that caught my attention the first time she and I talked about this was that when she was on the phone with 911, they were also talking with the assistant principal at the same time. Then they were also communicating with the officers and the paramedics at the scene where Tristan was at the house, at the stranger's house, outside the door. And all of these things were being communicated, and they were saying he was nonverbal, he was this, she gave him gloves, clothes, he was wearing, and they were showing up and down. It was not her son because this was a sixth grade. This was not a second grade. And it got to the point to where the officer said, what kind of underwear was he wearing? That was a huge red flag because one, he was leaving school. He's supposed to have left school, wandered away, and walked away on his own. Why would you even know what kind of underwear he's wearing when he's fully grown? So
right.
If you found him, why would you know his underwear? I just don't understand that moment. And so she has to identify his son after giving all of this information about the underwear that he had on.
Yep.
Wow. That this a lot of these things are really puzzling to me, throw up a lot of red flags, and needs to be investigated. But they closed the case.
Yeah.
That just makes no sense to me. I want y'all that are tuned in, that are listening, I want y'all to call in and chime in on this conversation. I want to hear your input, your thoughts. If this was your child, well, what would you be doing? You can call in at 605-562-0444, or you can dial 717-734-6904. Make sure you press the identification code, which is 546-1150 Press £1 to get into the studio, and then press *2 to join the conversation. Going to give you that identification code again, 546-1150 Then press £1 to enter the studio, *2 to join the conversation. We want to hear from you guys tonight. I want to hear what you would do if you're in this situation, and some things that we can possibly do to advocate for this family, how we can help them. Dwayne, what are some things that you guys are doing to help this family out and to bring some light to this case?
What we're trying to do is to try to get as much information as possible. We put in FOIA requests from everything from the initial police reports to the detective notes to the 911 calls, the actual body cam footage. We've asked Frisco ISD for the actual video footage of the school, in the school. They should have, I think, probably about 3 to 4 different camera angles. We also asked for the video angles from outside, by the baseball field from outside, covering the front of the school, the side of the school, and the back of the school. I've also asked for the police footage. They should have copies of the door ring cameras and security cameras of the housing in the neighborhood, because they did capture all of that. And we've met all kind of resistance. So we're going to keep asking that. We've also been talking about this on social media, trying to bring awareness to it. And next year, in 2026, which is right on down the road, we're going to try to bring it to pressure and start trying to get all of this information as much as we can. And if we need to, start filing lawsuits to compel them to pull this information out, because there is no active investigation. And so there should not be any reason that they're holding back this information, because it's not actively being investigated by any law enforcement agency at all. And so if we can start putting pressure on them to release the information, then maybe we can file an actual federal lawsuit, and then also get maybe the feds to take a look at this on the corruption level, because there has to be some type of corruption from the government official level, from the state to the county to the city, and then also with the school district itself and those individuals that are involved.
Wow.
And I'd also like to add that there are other cases that have gone through this particular police department, where investigations have not been taken, they've not gone by protocol. So right now they're under a lot of scrutiny, and so it's time for us to put some more pressure so that this stops, because this will not be the last time. And if they continue to handle their investigations and the responses by the police department as they have been with cases that are currently ongoing, and not held accountable, doing the job that they're supposed to be doing, it will continue.
Right.
It will continue.
And we need it to stop. We need it to stop. We have one caller. We have caller number 1 in queue. After that caller, I wanted Dwayne to chime in. I want to know if there's any type of statute of limitation on cases like this. But we have caller number 1 in queue. Caller number 1, if you could please state your name and where you're calling from.
Good evening. My name is Shanae Johnson, and I am calling from California.
Hi, Shanette. How are you, sweetheart?
I am doing good. You know, my heart goes out to that mother. It just breaks after hearing her story this evening, listening to her and seeing her face. You know, I just sat in my car, and it made me mad. I was so angry, because just to hear the cover up, the principal, the assistant principal, the officer, you know, all 3 of them are involved. We're going to throw the teacher in there too, because the teacher let him out that classroom. And, you know, and for them not to get that baby to the hospital, I'm wondering, did he walk 45 minutes away from the school or did somebody take him and place that baby on somebody's porch for him to have that stuff in his system? And for that officer to say, "Oh, I have kids too," everybody say that. Everybody say that.
They did test him and do an SA kit on him, and there was no ground, nothing came back from that. But he has no recollection of how he ended up there at all. So you know just as much as I do.
Right.
Did someone place him there? In the amount of time that it would take, she said she drove 10 minutes, but see, he was walking. Right. So a 10-minute, so half an hour, and then was non-responsive, couldn't talk, was just, we don't know.
And that was my thing, if he had that much in his system, I would think that he wouldn't have made it that far. Truly, I believe that somebody placed him there, took him to that point. My heart just goes out to that family. I'm a lost at words because it's a child, and for the hospital or whoever it was that said that he had to give consent to be tested. What about the mother? What about her rights? That's her baby. He's 12 years old. He doesn't.
Yeah, roadblocks.
Texas,
that's roadblocks. Texas. That's roadblocks to keep the truth from coming out. They as long as people can delay stuff, they try to delay it as long as they can. We definitely know that there's a big cover up going on in that city. And they got two amazing people that are advocating and pushing. So definitely stay connected and stay tuned, because there's some things that are going to come forth. You got Dr. Sissy on the case, you got Dwayne on the case, and I tell you, the mama ain't letting down. She's not letting down. That's her baby, and she not letting down. So she has many people behind her. I can't believe that they would close a case with no resolution. We don't close cases without resolutions. That's crazy. When we have evidence that something happened to this baby. So we gonna get to the bottom of this. Shanette, I thank you for chiming in and sharing your perspective. If you would please tell everybody who you are before you exit.
Well, my name is Shanette Johnson. Like I said, I am the host of Let's Talk About It over there on the Crew Podcast Network. I speak about injustice, and as you guys know, I talk to a lot of men from the great state of Texas. Number one, Mr. James Legate. After hearing this baby story, and I'm comparing Mr. Legate's case to that, it's a lot. They cover up in wrongful conviction. So,
Texas is corrupt.
You guys. I really applaud you too. So, whatever I can do to bring out awareness, please let me know.
Well, thank you for chiming in tonight. Thank you for calling and supporting the network. Again, that was one of the hosts over on the Crew Podcast, Dwayne. So the question I asked was, is there any type of statute of limitation on cases like this?
Yeah, depending on what charges will be stemming from it. And most of the cases like this would be somewhere around the 5-year statute of limitation. The only way it wouldn't be a 5-year statute of limitation if they could prove any type of trafficking of the person. At that point, time there is no statute of limitations because those are aggravated crimes at that point in time. So it depends on what they can actually find from the investigation, and just from what we know, from what we've heard from Ms. Weekley, what I've looked into myself, and just the balance and the detective mode from the different institutions, the Frisco ISD, the county itself, Collin County, from the state, because Kent Action has weighed in as well. It tells me that there has to be some type of a tragedy type of moment going on. At the very least, someone in official capacity did some harm to the young man. And so, if it is at the least, that's 5 years statute of limitation. And I think that's why they closed it out like they did, so they won't try to discourage Ms. Weekley from moving forward. But I do believe it's some type of tragedy. And I believe it's several different people in different positions that's involved. And if we can put that together, then we can get them put behind bars. Right now, it's been a year and some change since this happened. And we're trying to seek some type of justice at the least of getting this case out there and uncovering who is involved at the surface level. And once we do that, then maybe we can find a commander person and whoever else is tied in. And I think it's hard to say SRO because he knows something. Because he talked to Tristan. What did he talk to Tristan about? We don't know. That's something we would have to find out. But I know that he should know something because he distanced himself from being even in that position, which he knew he was. He distanced himself from being investigated. And so I think that we could probably tie this thing into a tragedy moment, and then also at that point in time make it a federal issue, which there would be a statute of limitation on that. I think it's probably 5 to 10 years, if I believe right, when it comes to that type of moment of tragedy.
Right. Well, y'all, we have caller number 2 in queue. Caller number 2, if you could, please state your name and where you're calling from.
It is the boy, Mr. Zachary Williams, calling from Charleston, South Carolina. How y'all doing today?
Hey, Zach, how you doing? We're fine.
I'm doing fine. One thing I want to say is, this is another case that we fall short on. And it's so heartbroken for the mother who's going through this. Because how can you sleep at night knowing that you know something happened? How can you look your child in the face or any other kid that you come across knowing that you know something? Like, how can you sleep at night? I know that has to go through your mind that you know something. And the fact that you are not coming forward and telling what happened, how it happened, it makes me upset because there's too many cases that our young people, especially I say young people like me in general, who's a part of, I think I'm about this generation, right? That another adult that's in this case let the person down, let the kid down, knowing that you know something, you're not saying anything. The fact that you let it get to this point, the fact that you can look somebody in the face and lie like you don't know something that you do.
Mm-hmm.
How about if that was justice? What would you do in this situation? See, we if it's not our kids, we don't care. Like, if it's happened to somebody with our kids or our family that are close to us, we care. I just need people to get out that mindset. If you know something, don't sleep on it. Tell it.
Say something. Speak
up. Want justice.
And what they're banking on is, as she stated too, if you just heard her speak, is, she's having a difficult time even coming up with copays for therapy. So to hire outside sources, investigators to do her own footwork on this is not an option. And that's what they're banking on.
Mm-hmm.
Because if nobody investigates it, that statute of limitations could very well expire. And the effects that Tristan is already encountering, the fear, the anxiety, flashbacks, his hypervigilance moving forward in his life, this is very impactful for him.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that because it kicked off something in my brain. I got a friend that has a private investigating company in Columbia, South Carolina, and she works a lot with human trafficking. I'm gonna reach out to her tomorrow. I'm glad you said something that just reminded me of her. I've had her on the show here before. I'm gonna reach out to her tomorrow because she has helped bring a lot of people home from being human trafficked. So she may be able to help with this case in so many ways. She's been she originally worked with the sheriff department in Richland, Lexington County in South Carolina, and she started her own security company. So she's been doing that now for I think about 10 or 15 years, and she's done a lot of human trafficking cases. So I'm gonna reach out to her tomorrow, and
and if there's any viewers that are listening that know of or that are and willing to help out with this case in any way, please email me at Sissy, Sissy 11251 and we will definitely connect you to try to bring a resolution to this family.
yes.
Thank you.
Was that?
And I hope somebody.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And I hope somebody. I'm saying I hope somebody gets something out of this. I'll tell you, there's another case. There's so many other cases out there that's similar like this. If you know something, any cases, speak up. Please speak up. Please. It's very important that we speak up for what we know.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna leave it as that.
If you would, before you jump off, tell everybody who you are.
So I am Dr. Williams. I am the show called Black Canvas. My next show is the 23rd as we tell the story and bring it to real life. Thank you.
And you are also a host where?
Oh, I also on a show called Royal Mike on her channel. Like, yo, check me out. Check me out everywhere. I'm pretty much everywhere. Pretty much. All on social media. And I do poetry as well.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, thank you for chiming in on the conversation tonight. Y'all, we got caller number 3 in queue. Caller number 3, if you would, please state your name and where you're calling from.
Peace and blessings. This is Sister Beverly, the Truther. Hi, Angela, and peace and blessings to your guests.
Hey, Sister Bessie, how you doing?
Hi, how are you? My heart goes out to the mother and the child that this happened to. I want to know why our children are not safe in schools today. There should be more protection for these children when they leave their home, when they travel to school, and when they leave school.
Mm-hmm.
And before a child is let out, that you mentioned, when I was growing up, it was always an adult there before they were let out of class. When I was young, they also, because they didn't have the automatic locks that they have today, they put chains on the doors to make sure no outside influence could come in, and for the children not to leave unless they're escorted by a parent. You know, it's difficult for me to understand why we have a system that do not put these children first and their safety first. And we are dealing with an unjust type of justice system and law enforcement that disregard children lives and adult lives. It is very sad to hear this situation. And when I say that they're leaving school, also, you have the situation where the woman that was pregnant with her son that was attacked by other children. When they leave those grounds, it should be someone out there to observe and to stop incidents that may happen. And we got to do more in the school system, law enforcement, and the justice system to make sure that these children are safe. And my prayers are out to the mother, and I hope that there's a lawyer, as you said, that will take that case and reopen it, because it deserves to be looked at much better than what they have done. This is sadness where the children are not safe. We got to do more.
Exactly.
And that's what I wanted to say.
Well, I thank you. I thank you for chiming in and sharing your perspective on tonight. If you would, please let everybody know who you are.
I'm retired, part of WBNN, but I consider myself a still family. Uh, at that time, my show was The Front Porch, and I just became uh, the Hall of Famer for WBNN, and I'm grateful that I was able to experience WBNN and the host and Brother O. And I want to thank you for allowing me to speak. This is a wonderful wake-up call to many parents and to many listeners out there. Thank you so much, Angela.
Thank you. Again, she is a retired host here on the podcast on the network. She is not only inducted in as a international internet radio Hall of Famer broadcaster, she's also a lifetime achievement award recipient as well. So I thank her for leading the way, because she was a part of this network before I joined this network. So she was one of the host that was here. I've been over here for 5 years. May will be 6 years. So she was already here in place, and I tell you, they made it hard for me. I had some shoes to fill. I'm telling you, I had some shoes to fill, but they were some great teachers, and I think I'm just thankful to be in the midst and to be able to have learned from some amazing people. So shout out to you, Sister Bessie. Um, Dwayne, I wanted to ask you, don't know if you know this question or not, answer to this question or not, but how long do schools preserve the recordings? Because I know when I worked in retail, um, every 30 days we recorded over our recordings. So is there a chance that there is still footage, or is there a chance that that footage could be lost? How long do they have to reserve that footage? Because like with tax papers, they tell you you should keep your tax papers for at least 3 years in case you get audited. Is there some type of um, something in place with these videos? Because now we know a lot of stuff happens in these schools. Now we've been seeing a lot of stuff. So do they have some type of procedure in place to where these things can be reserved?
Yeah, they're supposed to keep them for 90 to 180 days. Um, since this was an investigation, normally that video is preserved and sent over to the police for investigation. We don't know if it was, because remember the detective said that he saw it, but he didn't. So there should be footage somewhere, because it was already preserved, or it was already allocated to be sent out to the investigators. It shows to the mother. We know that the school district people saw it. The superintendent did, but some of the managers up under him did. So the video was actually preserved. They have a copy that they sent it to edit and all those different things. So there should be video footage, and it should have been preserved. because the court was involved with Ms. Weekley and Tristan as well, and they did have hearings. So I'm hoping that it's still available.
Yeah, because I know I was actually watching something on TV where someone was getting arrested at a facility, and they actually had to download a USB, download it to a USB to send to them. So I'm thinking if there was an investigation done, shouldn't it be entered in like or preserved in something like when they have cases or whatever, and they have to identify it. Like I know some of the people that me and Shanette work with, they can go and pull stuff from their case, and there's numbers and stuff that identify evidence that was presented in that case, and things of that nature. So I wonder, since it was an investigation done, was it entered into whatever you call it? I'm not so I'm not so savvy with that stuff. Y'all know I don't know the laws and stuff. So evidence. I didn't hear you. What you say?
The key is to start from the very beginning, because he was released from class by whom? Right. And the footage that was shown to Miss Weekley the second time was completely different, and it showed kids all around. But we know clearly that's not the case, because he was released before school let out. He had his backpack. Right. And that's what really puzzles her, is why. Who organized this?
Right.
So they've already jumped ahead of the narrative by altering the video.
Exactly. And even, the beginning of school, and on the second day, this person called him by name. So how do this person know who he was? Because I know the second day, my teachers didn't know your name. It took them it took them a couple of weeks to be able to know our names, and to be able to not have to go by the roll call to know who we were, and the assigned seats, because that's how our teachers remembered our names. They assigned us to seats. So how on the second day you just calling him out amongst all of the kids?
Right, and class was still in. So if class is in, the teachers most likely are in the rooms as well, right?
Exactly.
So who was this person?
Who was this person roaming the halls?
Mm-hmm.
While school, while class is in session? So to me, I'm just like, it's just so much, because a lot of schools have these paraprofessionals, because my friend, she drove school buses. So instead of going home after driving the school bus, she would go work in the school. So did this person drive a school bus and was a paraprofessional, went and assisted teachers, because they have teacher assistants too? So what role did this person play if they was not signed in as a visitor?
Yeah.
And why are y'all covering it up?
Most definitely.
Frisco has a lot.
Also, the list of the signed-in visitors may not necessarily reflect the name that this person gave either.
Right.
So if you signed in, your name is Angela. But what if you said your name was Susan?
But if you signed in, you had to present an ID. So
right. But if you're speaking to a student, you can make whatever name you want up. So
but still,
the correlation between the sign-in, but I would question each one of those.
Sure. Exactly, and they should have.
They actually run your ID. So when you go in, they run your ID to check and make sure that you are who you are.
And they don't got fancy now. They don't got fancy now because now they take your ID, they stick it in a machine, and it prints out a label that has your name and it has the date on it, and you stick it on your shirt. Because I have went to several schools because I used to do food service for after school programs, and I used to deliver food to the after school programs, and I used to have to go into the front office. I used to have to sign in, give them my ID, and they would put my ID in that machine, and it would print out a label. Yeah, a lot
And
of the
they can
schools don't
print
got
out
fancy.
they can print out pictures and at least show them. Does any of these people like a lineup?
Yeah,
So
and
I
they
can
probably
usually
could
ask for
pull.
that.
They
If
probably
usually
could
ask for that, they do not.
if they have that. If they have that particular machine, like a lot of these places have now, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of these places have them, because every school I went to deliver stuff to, and this was back in 2015, 2016. So I'm sure a lot more schools have them now, because it's a lot easier on paperwork, and it's a lot easier on stuff, because not only that, it keeps a log. When you put it in that machine, it's like it goes into the computer. They have it at hospitals too.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's an easy
they have it
way
here in
to
Texas.
to
Ms.
keep up
Weekley
with it.
actually asked them. She asked them for a lineup, so to just show a photo book of all the employees or whatever. They refused, and that's why we know that they know who this person is, because it wasn't a business. Because all businesses have to show their ID, have to be checked and vetted, and so they were. She was, and Amanda was not on the law physical. So it has to be someone that worked there, because she was there in the bus line, and he remembered that from the day before. So, and that's why it's happening, because they are liable. The school district is liable. The police department now is liable. The city is liable. There's a lot of people that's liable right now because of this situation.
Well, we definitely gonna be boots on the ground for this case, and
Yeah.
we are still shouting self defense is not a crime for Carmelo and for Christian. Before we close out here tonight, we want to talk about those. We want to bring, we want to share a little bit about those cases too, because we not letting them go either. We've been on Carmelo's case since April. I heard about this case the day after my birthday. It happened the day after my birthday. So I remember hearing this case, and immediately hearing that case, I was like, something ain't right. Something ain't right. And then I started coming on TikTok, and I'm telling you, it was everywhere. And I just still, it just ain't right. And there too is, it speaks nothing but cover up, cover up, cover up, cover up, cover up. And Frisco got a lot to answer to. It's just sad, but Frisco has a lot to answer to. So I want y'all to share a little bit about both of those cases, if y'all don't mind.
Uh, with the Carmelo Anthony case, as you know, this happened the 2nd of April of this year, and he was sitting up under a canopy after a rain delay, and he was approached by Austin Metcalf, Hunter Metcalf, and who were kin and two of their friends, and they demanded that he move. They began to assault him. They took his bag and threw it. They beat him up, and he tried to get away. They pulled him back, and within that time of pulling him back in, somewhere in there, Austin Metcalf was stabbed. Carmelo actually got away, and upon running away, the other three chased him. Austin Metcalf started to chase him, but I guess he realized then that he had been stabbed, so that's when he kind of came down a couple of steps and fell down. Carmelo got away too quick, so the other guy just kind of stayed in because he made it to a coach. And when he turned around, they turned around and they saw Austin laying down in the pit of the top. And so they charged him that day with murder of Austin Metcalf before he was even pronounced at the hospital. and
Hmm.
he's been fighting this case since then. The family has been accosted, they've been threatened, they've been forced to move 3 times within a month, and they're just kind of fighting the situation, trying their best to survive. They do have a GoFundMe as well. It's on GoFundMe.com backslash Help Carmelo, and that's spelled with a K. And they're using all the assistance that they can get. Christopher Niehaus, his situation was in Midlothian, Texas, which is a little bit south of Frisco, Texas, and he had been assaulted by one of the girls a week prior. They didn't do anything about it because he didn't go unconscious. And I guess this group of individuals next following week, because of her, were trying to fight him and his friends. They tried to run his car over. He got away into a park. They followed, and there they assumed they started to assault him. You can see on the video that was released that he actually took out his blade while he was retreating, and he actually swiping at the money and taking him away. The young man was cut. He didn't die or anything, but they did choose to charge Christopher Niehaus with the aggravated assault with deadly weapon of the people that were assaulting him. And so this becomes an actual trend. And just like in the Tristan Weekley case, we put in FOIA requests in all these different cases, and they've all done the same thing: try to deny us access to the scarce essential information, and they send it up to Attorney Jerry's office to block. So it's just a repetitive cycle of cover up, trying to do the wrong thing against the wrong people, and to cover up those things and hope that people give up. But we will not be able to change the fight.
Exactly. Exactly. I tell you, Texas is wrapped up in a lot of stuff. I just if people would just go Google the state of Texas, they can see all the corruption that has been taking place in corruption that has been taking place over decades. I am so glad that individuals are coming together and saying enough is enough, because enough is enough. And I am so grateful that individuals are standing for justice. They want justice for these individuals because um, we have the right to defend ourselves when we are being attacked. Um, Not everybody want to fight. Not everybody want to. When I go somewhere, I want to be able to go and enjoy myself and be able to return back home to my family safe. And it's just like individuals wanting to bully and wanting to do all these different things and not give you that peace, and they think it's okay. And then you have all these individuals that are connected, that know each other, and they use their power and their money to cover up things, and it has to stop. It has to stop. Y'all, we got caller number 4 in queue. Caller number 4, if you would, please state your name and where you're calling from, please.
Yes, my travel name is Uni Bakatun, and my Timmy stage name is Master. Top Magic Man for real. How's it doing tonight? Beautiful and brilliant, son of a God, and international internet radio Hall of Famer, and spiritual daughter of mine.
I'm doing great.
I tell you.
I can't complain.
Well, you ain't able to catch all of that. Hey, on the real, honor to you, special honored guest that's speaking tonight. And again, y'all, rejoice and be glad because the 400-year bondage is over. Even though we're just less than 10 years out of this 400-year bondage, and now the evil ones in their kind, the soulless ones, they can't deny the truth because the truth is coming out all over the place. Even some of the ones who look just like them are turning against all of the lies and stuff like that. So I give thanks while sustaining, and I know that the more we stand together, calling for any and everything because they got to give it up. That's a prophecy. And our people have been a part of the holder. So I know there's only a matter of time to keep our head up and keep our hands in each other's hands. And we definitely got to be on the lookout no matter where we go. Because we know their last stand is to try to bring us into a racial war. You see, that's their last stand because they know they don't have another leg to stand on. Look, I'm also a host of this great company of WBNN. I have two shows. My last show, Holy Bakatun Unleashed, that's normally on a Friday, and I did that almost a week ago. Almost a month ago. But tomorrow, as always, this show ends, my show begins. Okay? Yeah, I'm sending out an all-point bulletin for this subject here, spiritual daughter of God. Okay, I don't know if you've seen some of the pre-advertisements, but it's a statement that's going in that's called Love You to Death. So, this event is called If You Can't Love Me to Life, You, fill in the blank, sure won't love you to death. And I need as many people to come across and come in, call in, and be a part of this round table interaction because I'm telling you, it's happening with the elders, it's happening with the youth, and it's a sickness. I don't want, I don't know if you, like me, spiritual daughter, and special honor guest, I don't want somebody to love me that bad.
Well, I'm telling you, honey, that when you said that, when you said that, it took me back. It took me back, bro. It took me back, brother O, because brother Hooney, because I'm a survivor, and that thing right there, it made me feel like that's what my husband was trying to do, love me to death, and he actually tried to take my life. I am a survivor, shot point blank range with a sawed off shotgun. God is good. I would not be here doing what I'm doing. So I'm grateful. I definitely will be tuned in because people need to know that it's okay to walk away. Um, it's okay to walk away. If they got to love you that much, I don't need love.
that part. Again, excellent, excellent show. Honors to you, special honor guests, everyone who's speaking, everyone who's tuned in. And again, you can do this, y'all, if you stop playing. Love you with the heart and soul of me.
And they don't like to share their accolades, but this man holds a lot of titles here on the WBNN. I can't begin to tell his accolades. So, Brother O, you can do the privilege because he holds quite a few.
Well, it's okay. It's okay. I go right there. He's the only host in the History of our network that have two Host of the Year with the Anna Liddell Award, what is that, 2018 and 2020. He's also an enshrinee to the Academy of the International Radio Hall of Fame and a Lifetime Achiever. Rabbi Dr. Hooney Bockerson.
I tell you, see, they have had me in between some amazing people. He come on tomorrow, but the young lady that used to hold down Jerry Petito, she retired. That used to hold down the space on yesterday show. Phew, he brother O put me between two powerhouses. So guess what? I had nothing other than to perform. I had to show up as best as I knew how because every seemed like every time. Yes.
Wait a minute. And last night, the person who I, took the slot had a chance to as well out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There's a young lady by the name of E. Davis coming on. 3 state championships. Oh wow.
So yes, I tell you, we have some powerhouses over here. Definitely, I'm grateful for the platform. We get an opportunity to share our perspective. We are not micromanaged, so we get an opportunity to share a little bit about the things that we're passionate about, the things that resonate with us. It wasn't until I became a part of this network that I became passionate about those that were wrongfully and overly incarcerated, social injustice, just human rights, period. My show was just about walking in purpose, just talking about, life. But then I began to people that were locked up and behind prison walls began to reach out to me, and it just made my show just grow, and to just I just became an advocate. Just wanted to, let people know that we have to be the change that we want to see in this world. We have to be that change. If we want change, we have to be that change. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the platform. I'm grateful for being able to have a voice. I'm grateful that I was able to come in contact with each and every one of the advocates that are advocating for Carmelo, and those that are advocating for Tristan, those that are advocating for Christopher, and all those that we are going to advocate for in the future. I'm just grateful to just be in the midst, because it's not a fad. It's something we won't change, and we can't sit still and expect change to happen. We're being boots on the ground. We're being boots in the air. We're being everywhere that we can be to get these messages out. We're utilizing our platforms to do just that. And I can't thank you guys enough for, at the drop of a dime, for being a part of all of my shows and being a part of the things that I do. So again, thank you guys for what y'all do, because none of the things that I do would be possible without all of those that are willing to share. Even those that tune in to this broadcast, and all of those that support the platforms. Um, so thank y'all. Thank you, Dr. Sissy, because I know you are busy and you could be anywhere, but you choose to come and be a part of what we're doing. And I thank you. Um, Brother Dwayne, thank you for all that you do. You know, I'm grateful. Y'all, it's that time.
Do we have do we have a little bit of time? Are we at the end here?
We're at the end. We're at the end. It is time for our final thoughts. So we can wrap it up. Whatever you were about to say, you have an opportunity to say that. I also want you guys to share how individuals can follow and support the things that you're doing. So we're going to start with you, Dr. Sissy.
Okay. I actually, and real quick, I just want to bring light to the Frisco Police Department. The Brady list is a list that's compiled of misconduct, and they have to, of different police officers. So that's what I have to say, and I'd like Dwayne to address that when that was FOIA requested, and what was the response?
Yes, real quickly, the response was that they don't have one, and they're required to have one, and so that's a problem for them. And final thoughts, I just want to thank everyone for allowing us to share this information out, and definitely thank Angela for giving us this opportunity and this platform to speak on all of the injustices and the things that's going on out here. We have to work. We have to work and bring in, shed light onto these things in these dark places, so we can bring change. And that's what it's about, bringing change. Not just speaking on it, but bringing change and bringing people home.
Exactly.
And you can reach me on my social media. I'm on TikTok. You can reach me at Dwayne. Dwayne Turnstill is what I call him. My thing is on TikTok. And you can email me as well at thekingdomworldwide@gmail.com.
Amen. And Dr. Sissy, your final thoughts and how individuals can follow and support you.
I do have a TikTok page, which is Sissy11251. My Gmail account, if there's anyone listening that has any information or wants to assist or know of somebody who can assist with any and all cases, that would be greatly appreciated. Please drop me an email at Sissy11251@gmail.com.
And again, I want to thank everyone that chimed into the conversation tonight. I want to thank my special co-host for joining me tonight, and sharing their perspective, and sharing their thoughts on tonight. Of course, y'all know that y'all can always follow me at Linktree /Queen of Collaborations. Y'all, I'm Queen of Collaborations on most platforms, or you can look me up under the Crew Podcast. If you just Google Angela Thomas Smith, you'll be amazed at what pops up. Queen of Collaborations. I am definitely trying to be the change that I desire to see in this world. That is my motto. Again, I thank Brother O for this opportunity, this space, for allowing me to be a voice. Never thought in a million years that I would be doing the things that I'm doing. Never thought that I would be an author. Never thought that I would have my own podcast network, a magazine, and a lot of things that I'm doing. But I thank God for these outlets, and I thank Him for this platform, for allowing me to be able to be a voice and to be a voice for that person that may not have a voice. So again, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Y'all, it is time for Ngozi time.
Wow, she sang that? I can't believe that. First of all, the class of 2020, to let you know, the greatness of Angela Thomas Smith. She came here as an intern host, and in her first year became, a rookie commissioner, similar to what Nick Parker had to do this year in 2025. The rookie commissioners, man, has made a dent into what we need to do on a constant basis to grow the network. And then this young lady, I tried to do the best I could to mentor her, and then she started her own network, the Crew Podcast. So we're so proud of this young lady. And we'll talk about her accolades momentarily. Congratulations to Angela Thomas Smith coming up on another street, her 75th debuting all-time connection record with the Darlene Lawrence Championship, honorary Great Hall of Famer, and how about this? Second tip. So congratulations to Angela Thomas Smith, and what a great year she's had, and this calendar year, and now into the new fiscal year that started after all the honors, her first championship of the calendar year. Tomorrow night we come back on with again another legend, and of course a Hall of Famer, lifetime achiever, the man from Elizabeth City, North Carolina. His name is Rabbi Dr. The name of the show is called We Will Wear You, class of 2017. Tomorrow night, 9:30 Eastern Daylight Time on the one and only Beverly Nation. And of course, this is Eric King Memorial Week, and so our salutations to the family of Eric King, and our heartfelt condolences to the loss in this life, but he is translated to a better life. And Eric, I miss you. Went to his funeral yesterday. We're at the homegoing, and it's very touching. To see a young man lose his life, like Huni Bakatun said, "Don't love me to death." He was murdered by his girlfriend, stabbed in the neck 9 times, and it's a sad situation. When the police officers came and the coroner came, his neck was off his shoulders almost. It was almost tore up. It was a horrific death, and for me, the 5th host ever lose their life here at WBNN. Some natural causes, things happen. He was the first host that ever was murdered at WBNN. Again, shout out to Randy Rogers, shout out to Lovely Ellen, shout out to Anna Waddell, and shout out to Darlene Lawrence. And we're going to have a moment of silence for those 5 hosts that were. WBNN has advertised Ngozi time all time. Your favorite school, Instagram, and on Twitter, or Facebook. Any comments, suggestions about one program tonight, gmail.com. I am your mother and father's favorite producer, Dr. Oladalle Malay Ngozi, supported by the University of Michigan and Colgate University, and I am Lonnie's Debbie Baby Boy. Saying good night, good luck to all the folks out there in Australia, the supporters on the continent. Now, of course, Angie will get on me, because I don't share my accolades. I am the 2019 International Internet Radio Hall of Fame disc jockey enshrinee. I am the 2021 to the Academy of the International Radio Hall of Fame enshrined, and of course, lifetime achieved in 2022. And now to exceptional accolades. The 2023 Anna Waddell Award winner for excellence, the WBNN Communications Host of the Year. For the Excel Feed, the 2000 and 23. International Internet Radio Hall of Fame broadcasting this running. The young lady from Anderson, South Carolina, Angela Smith.
Never thought that would be me. Never imagined that. But I am forever grateful for that enshrinement and for that award. I'm grateful just to be able to utilize my voice. I'm thankful for the platform and all those that have graced my um, my platform with me. Thank you. Hopefully to see you back in 4 weeks, y'all. We will be into a new year. So I hope you guys will join us. I will be celebrating 6 years here on this wonderful, amazing network. So y'all come on. Let's keep the voice being shared around the world. Let's be that change that we desire to see in this world. Change begin and end with you. Will you be that change? Until next time, you have been listening to Walk and Purpose with Angela, with the Queen of Collaborations. Y'all, I love y'all. Have a good night.